That water main break in Skokie causing extensive damage. We have team coverage from the ground and from above in CBS Skywatch. Our first alert meteorologists are timing out how long it will take for all of that ice to thaw. But we begin with investigator Tara Molina. She is live in Skokie with how this may have started. Tara.
Marie, Skokie officials still don't know exactly how this started, but tell me that many are still dealing with no water or very low pressure right now, and it's unclear when that will change. For those in this area with water, they are under a boil order right now. That means that all water needs to be boiled for at least 5 minutes before it can be used for anything, and that order is impacting more than 67,000 people.
This is an unprecedented situation for us.
You're looking at those in charge of Skokie's municipalities following the water main break this morning, telling us with thousands impacted by this, they're working with the Red Cross to provide shelter for the most serious cases.
And we appreciate the community's patience as we work to repair the issue and restore the drinking water supply.
Officials say they do not know if the emergency repair public works crews were making to a break in the area yesterday afternoon was connected to this one. Those crews at work until 2 a.m., just hours before this break was discovered.
They certainly didn't leave the scene with the water event that we found ourselves confronting this morning. So I wouldn't expect that there's any correlation.
I asked officials a question we know is top of mind for so many here right now. Who bears responsibility here when it comes to paying for car and home damage?
Folks should work first with their insurance provider because we don't know the particulars of those coverages and those circumstances. But then beyond that, the village has a risk management division, so the village then will respond accordingly to whatever insurance determination is made.
It's not just homes, businesses, and schools. With the water main break impacting operations, Skokie Hospital canceling all appointments here today and at its 2 Evanston locations at 1000 Central Street and 2500 Ridge Avenue. They confirmed their emergency department is sending ambulances to other facilities. A spokesperson telling me their focus is on patient safety. I also asked how many gallons of water have been lost here to put the scale of this massive break into a perspective for you. Crews still don't have an answer to that question quite yet. Reporting live outside the Skokie Police Department, I'm Tara Molina, CBS News Chicago Investigators.
A huge impact, no doubt. Thank you, Tara. We want to go to Chris Habermill now. He is in Skywatch live over Skokie. And Chris, from there you really can see the scope and how widespread this damage is.
Indeed, look at the ice that's down there. This is where it all began, Marie. This is East Prairie Road and Emerson Street, and you can still see that there's quite a lot of work that has to be done. They're going to have to dig into this street, and it's a skating rink. I am overall pleasantly surprised based on what we had out here much earlier to see that McCormick Boulevard has been reopened partially. It's only closed from Church to Golf. We got churches back. Eastbound Golf has been reopened with just a right lane blocked over by McCormick. So a lot of the water is drained down. Water seeks its own level, and it was very, very heavy. You know, you're talking about 8 pounds per gallon or so, and that's all going down into the storm sewers underneath that icy top. Now, a complicating factor here, not just the streets, but we have closures. Westfield Old Orchard Shopping Center closed on Valentine's Day as a result of this, and the low and no water pressure, and the Skokie Public Library is closed, and a host of area schools went to either e-learning, modified their schedules, or took half days. Over Skokie, Chris Habermill, CBS News, Skywatch.
Chris, thank you. This water main break has created a huge mess in that area and potentially dangerous conditions for people living nearby. Our Sarah Mackey's been in that neighborhood all morning. And Sarah, can you give us a sense of what it looks like there on the ground?
Yeah, Marie, early on, the visuals from this thing were absolutely incredible. People said they could not believe it, but I want you to see how much progress they have made and where things stand right now. You can see that we do have some crews out here, still a large area blocked off and some standing water. I just checked in with them. They say that that water is about 4 inches deep in some points and that this main still not capped. Longtime residents telling us it's unlike anything they have ever seen before. And while these crews have been able to make so much progress, there is still a lot of work to be done. Crews were out here earlier with shovels and with plows trying to remove some of the slush and the ice that was left behind when moving water drained away. Residents telling us this was just shocking to see.
We've been talking to the neighbors all morning, just making sure everybody can get their cars out and their wheels don't freeze.
You know, we've been here for about 11 years, so this is the first time like something like this major has happened around here. So.
Some street closures do continue. We've been talking with crews out here. They are trying to get as much water out of the way so that it doesn't freeze as the temperatures continue to drop. From Skokie, Sarah Maki, CBS News Chicago.
Sarah, thank you. Water and ice. CBS Skywatch is live over Skokie, where an early morning water main break has created endless problems for the people who live and work in the village. Here's some video from earlier this afternoon. There you can see cars trapped in the water and ice, several streets and yards flooded. This, and it's a weather alert day. Snow expected to start in a little more than an hour. Then we have bitter cold right behind it. So there's team coverage tonight with Chief Meteorologist Albert Ramon and meteorologist David Yeomans in the first alert weather sphere to time it all out.
Yeah, we'll talk about the snow in just a moment because it could be heavy, but temperatures single digits this morning when the water main broke, and we're still below freezing. It looks like we're going to be there for a while.
A long time. And then next week, of course, temperatures get even colder. You know, if this were to happen in the summer, like a thunderstorm or a common basement flood event, you might be able to use your pump and get it out of there. But because of the extreme temperatures that we've seen, a lot of this quickly solidified into ice. This is a closer look at nearby O'Hare. Skokie, of course, just right up the road. At 5 a.m., when crews started responding to the reports of water out there, it was 3 degrees at nearby Skokie. The temperatures were just about as cold this morning. There we are this morning. Observed temperatures hovering at 4 degrees for the first several hours that all that water was pouring out into the neighborhood. Later this afternoon, we saw south winds warming us up, but the clouds also kind of limited the warm up because we didn't see any sun. 26 was the warmest we got, so still well below freezing. We may be able to melt a little bit of that ice in Skokie with a brief pop above freezing tomorrow afternoon, but then all bets are off. These are high temperatures in the single digits Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's our next blast of polar air.
The images of the day. North suburban homes, garages, and basements flooded, and then those floodwaters are freezing over. Noel Brennan's been speaking with people who live near that water main break in Skokie. A lot of people figuring out, Noel, how to live with this new reality that seems to be rapidly changing.
Absolutely, Marie. I'll tell you that this is the first car we've really seen pull through here. These streets used to be covered with water and ice, and I'm talking about really big, thick pieces of ice, several inches thick. This was coating everywhere, but just take a look over here. You can see these have been cleared thanks to crews that came out here just a few hours ago. They had a big front end loader that was out here doing a lot of work to clear all of that ice and water. We're just a couple blocks away from the water main break happened early this morning. Earlier today, though, neighbors were doing their best to help the public works crews out here. Some grabbed shovels and tried to unclog drains in the street. But near Lyons and Ewing, water had already poured into front yards, backyards, and into alleys, and much of it had frozen over. I talked to one family who's lived in the same house for 50 years, and they've never experienced flooding like this before. They woke early this morning to what sounded like a faucet running. Turns out it was water pouring in through one of their basement windows.
I woke up to like this craziness here, water everywhere, basement flooded, our backyard is flooded really bad. We have a pool in our backyard now. So it's an ice pool, but you know, at least we could go ice skating later on tonight.
Homeowners out here are concerned about what happens tonight when temperatures drop. No doubt they will be living with some frozen yards for a while, and of course everyone out here is dealing with a boil order as well through at least Saturday afternoon. Reporting live in Skokie, Noel Brennan, CBS News Chicago. Marie?
An overwhelming amount of things to contend with. Thank you, Noel.